Welcome to the REALL Academy, brought to you each Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time by the
Systems DoctHers,
Dr. Sheka Houston and Dr. Tammy Taylor, best-selling authors, consultants, and speakers of Create and Educate LLC. Create and Educate LLC is an educational consultant and literary firm that provides professional development to schools and community. Their goal is to transform organizations with the REALL Resilience Framework used to increase their school report card grades 2 and 3 grade levels in 1 year. REALL stands for Respect, Excellence, Accountability, Literacy, and Leadership. This framework is used to coach leaders and teachers and build student efficacy while putting systems in place that aligns the work of the school improvement, making the process manageable. When the work is manageable, teachers and leaders don't stress out or burn out.
the Systems DoctHers
Alignment systems are designed to help schools evolve and grow, all while instituting protocols and processes designed to promote collaboration and collegiality. The implementation of the alignment framework prevents some of the most common problems in education, where leaders sometimes aren't sure where to start, or in our new age of educating, leaders need a trusted sounding board that allows them to be vulnerable and transparent, preventing loneliness at the top. The framework doesn't just help leaders, but also prevents teachers from burning out from too many initiatives and embracing teachers as they are the experts. Finally, the framework extends to the children, helping them get engaged in school and solving a nationwide problem. Alignment systems are frequently referred to as a key element of success in the improvement process. In the sport of rowing, all rowers must put their oars in the water succinctly, creating a system for their boat to reach maximum speed. So schools that want to improve are bringing in
the Systems DoctHers
to teach them all about the alignment systems that must be in place for school improvement to be accomplished at high levels. The dynamic duo provides insights into educational topics through their international platform, which includes educators, parents, and community members as a way to support important entities that make communities thrive. This is their way to pay it forward and provide the support they needed through their platform. Take a look. People who work with the
Systems DoctHers
describe them as an excellent and inspiring group of leaders. They get into the weeds of work with leaders through their TrustMate Institute that you should contact them about today by filling out the contact form on their website.
Happy Saturday, everyone. Welcome to the REALL Academy, brought to you by Create and Educate. It is Super Saturday. I am Dr. Sheka Houston.
Good morning, everybody, and I'm Dr. Tammy Taylor.
Good morning, Tammy.
Hi, Sheka.
Hey. So we have a great show in store for you this morning. Shout out to Principal Hurt, who's always on fire. We enjoyed him as always, did a phenomenal job, and we have a special guest with us. So if this is your first time joining us in the REALL Academy, we want to tell you who we are. We are consultants who help leaders empower their students and staff members to transform schools. We provide the same systems that we use to improve our schools, 2 and 3 report card grade levels in 1 year at my middle school and at Tammy's elementary school. Tammy's school actually increased 60 levels in the state. My school was a STEAM School of Excellence. We were also a Palmetto Silver School for academic growth. And Tammy's school is an NWEA case study school and also an Admentum showcase school. So this is what we help other leaders to transform their schools the same way, same systems that we use. We've served in classrooms, we've served in leadership roles in the school and district levels. We serve on multiple boards, and we are also speakers and best-selling contributing authors to Women Who Lead and Breonna Taylor and Me.
And if you're wondering how we can help you, we can help you through our TrustMate Institute, which allows you to collaborate with us and other leaders with like goals while gaining school transformation systems that we have created that helped us while you make them your own. When you use our three systems of transformation, systems of respect, systems of excellence, and systems of accountability, these systems actually were the secret sauce to what we use to transform our schools.
Most definitely. And we can also help you with our Build My Sister collaborative, where we empower Black women specifically to lead their lives with authenticity and through a genuine sisterhood. Because as Black women, we know what it was like to face challenges in leadership. And sometimes those stories that are not told happen more often than we know. And Black women definitely in leadership need that support and need that sisterhood. We are also excited about our new program for girls, the Real Me for Girls. That's our K 12 empowerment program, specifically for African American girls. And the school that we're piloting it through has just given us great feedback. So if you are interested in any of those things, please reach out to us through our website and we will definitely be in touch with you. But please like, share, subscribe, comment, do all of the things that the platforms do to help us build these algorithms. And we appreciate you all being here and joining us on this Super Saturday.
Yes, we do. And as you know, we pay this forward every Saturday as a part of our live stream network. The Fantastic Four, beginning at 10 a.m. with Principal Sean Hurt, who we want to thank and just give huge accolades and shout outs to this morning. Phenomenal fella. And we had the privilege of joining him this week, or him joining us this week in some professional development. So it was just like home run, knocked out the park. We should borrow Principal Kafele's Louisville Slugger, Principal Hurt, because you really did your thing and we appreciate you. And of course, following Principal Hurt at 10 are Sheka and I with Create and Educate, the REALL Academy at 10:30. And then following us at 10:55, our mentor, the GOAT, the godfather of education in the AP and New Principals Academy with Principal Kafele. And then again on Sunday night with the PGP podcast with Dr. Moreno and Principal Josh Tovar.
And happy birthday again to Principal Kafele. He's
Happy
out in
birthday.
Jamaica with the Queen celebrating, so we're looking forward to seeing him next. But let's shout out our fam, our real fam. And I had an opportunity to talk to some new teachers this week in PD, providing them support. And I talked to them about making sure they have something to recharge them and to just rejuvenate. And real fam, this what we do on Saturdays, Super Saturdays, this is the thing for me that rejuvenates me. So I appreciate you all being here. So shout out to Stacy L. Joy. We appreciate you. Jaliyla is here with us from Fraser's Mathematics Solutions. That's our special guest. Kenyelle Williams out in Oklahoma. We appreciate you. Our Queen Jasmine Harris out on the West Coast. Thank you for joining us. Principal Sherrod Laws, we appreciate you joining us from Greenville, North Carolina. Principal Sean Hurt, thank you. He's in the building. We appreciate you. Assistant Principal Patrick Lawrence, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. September Devon Vance Daniels, thank you for joining us. Taylor Williams, we appreciate you. The boss educator, Dr. Nelson, is in the building. We appreciate you. Yes. And Chanel Tizino, I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you for joining us. Tina Page, thank you for joining us. Principal Central Hicks, we appreciate you from Texas. Miss Dot McKeever Jeter, we always appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. Melissa Jones Chunu out in Oklahoma. Donna Gant, thank you for joining us. She's out in Georgia. David Bell in Michigan, we appreciate you joining us. Tina Page and Dr. Joe Griffin, he's also out on the West Coast. Thank you for joining us, Doc. Alicia Scott is joining us. We appreciate you. Kenna Rowland, thank you for joining us. Chrissy Alejo, Real Purposeful, Sinitra Williams, Dr. Gaskins, and the GOAT is in the house, Principal Kafele. So we thank you all for joining us.
Yes, and why don't you guys tell us how you kept it real this week in the comments? And remember, REAL is our acronym and the alignment framework that we have that stands for respect, excellence, accountability, literacy, and leadership. So give us some feedback on how you guys kept it real this week.
So that finally brings us to our topic for today, episode 167, Systems of Excellence to Transform Tier 1 Math Instruction. And we're going to bring up our special guest.
Got an expert in the house.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you. Miss Jaliyla is joining us, and we're going to allow you to introduce yourself to the Real Fam.
Absolutely. Good morning, Real Fam. Thank you for having me. I am so excited to be here. My name is Jaliyla Fraser, and like my shirt says, I am a dope math educator, and I'm a dope math educator because I believe in two things. I believe that number one, all students can learn math at very high levels. And number two, I'm always committed to being a subject matter expert. So I'm always learning, I'm always growing. And that is my mindset that I approach every space that I'm in mathematics. I've been in the math education space for about 15 years in various capacities. At a very young age, I was a math and high school physics teacher. I was a professor at Rutgers for about 8 years. I was a curriculum supervisor, was promoted as the youngest district supervisor in my district. And I did that job for 6 years, a curriculum writer. I was in various spaces and now running my business and using all of those tools and those techniques that I was able to build that skill and being a lifelong learner. I now give back into school climates and I try to make sure that schools understand having a dope math culture in their school is important. Making sure that your curriculum is aligned and it has all of the really important standards, but also the social, emotional pieces is a part of it, and also helping school districts select their instructional resources for future years. So I'm just excited to be here and talk all things math and how we can ensure these schools and districts that we work with feel supported and know the best ways to support that in their schools. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Most definitely. And thank you for being here. You all probably recognize this queen. She was first on Principal Kafele's platform a few weeks ago. And she invited me to be on her platform on Instagram where we had a great conversation surrounding math. So we felt it necessary based on some of the new scores that have come out to continue this conversation because it's obviously one that is needed to be had. So I'm going to kick us off. I think I got through all of the comments with some data. And if we're saying something that sounds good to you, drop a real good in the comments. Principal Hurt always says he's talking good, but we want to, if we're talking good to you this morning, drop a real good in the comments. So we're going to start this off with just some data. I think Principal Hurt posted this. You talked about it, Jaliyla, when you were on with Principal Kafele. The new report cards are out, scores are out. and there was something that came out saying that Baltimore County schools, 13 Baltimore City schools, there were 0% of students who scored proficient in math.
Yeah.
And when you have a district with thousands of students, and we're not saying this to pick on Baltimore, they're the ones who
Right.
made the national news, but there are several districts and schools in this same predicament. When you have thousands of students who scored zero on the in math proficiency, that is a travesty. That means that the children were better off staying at home than they were coming to school to learn anything. It's a travesty to the students. And I know educators don't feel good, when we have those outcomes. But as educators, we've got to look at why is this happening? Where is this coming from? And there's a disconnect between the way people feel about math. People feel like it's okay not to really be good in math. That's
Yeah.
socially acceptable,
Yeah.
but it's not okay to not know how to read. So a lot of our focus is on reading. And so we want to have this conversation today about why we have got to change that narrative, because the change in our global our industry, where we are providing our students to be ready for employment, the employability of our students. We're going to have a global competitive society. Our kids are not going to rank up because other countries are investing in math and
Right.
STEM and STEAM. So we want to bring up the fact that the U.S. ranks 28th out of 37 on the PISA assessment. And if you're not sure what the PISA assessment is, it's that program for international students assessment. And so in the United States, we don't rank that well up against other countries. The reason why that's important is because 70% of the new jobs that are not even in existence right now are going to require STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math skills. Those types of jobs are growing from 11% from 2020 to 2030. And so if students aren't proficient in making sure they know how to problem solve, analyze data, and critically think, they will not be ready for jobs in technology, engineering, healthcare. And this is where these sectors are, where these jobs will exist, because this service industry, a lot of the industries that exist right now, AI is going to knock out a need for a lot of those jobs. So I wanted to set that up for us, but I want to hear from our expert on what are your thoughts on this, and where we're going and why this is important.
So thank you for just highlighting the fact that where we are with the data. Because I think a lot of times we may have conversations that come from an emotional standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
but the data is there. We talked about what's happening in Baltimore public schools. We just talked about we're ranking 28 or 27 out of um,
28. Mm-hmm.
28 out of
Mm-hmm.
37 on that assessment, right? And we're now in a global economy. We are no
Mm-hmm.
longer like in a closed circuit where we are competing within the United States and, Canada, because we're right there. We are in a global market. We've been there, but we didn't really understand the impact or have seen the impact of what that means. Right now on my team, I have team members that live in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, all of my staff, they are not United States, they're not in this country. And so when we say, even from that small microcosm of it, there's a competition of those skill sets.
Mm-hmm.
And when we try to compete for employment that requires critical thinking, that requires our future scholars to be able to make like really important decisions, other economies, other educational systems, they're doing it better and faster, and they are able to, provide the results that we are looking for. And
Mm-hmm.
so we're not preparing our students the way that we should on a critical landscape. We are not creating critical thinkers. And the
Right.
reason why we're not doing that is because we're not asking our students the why questions.
Mhm.
We are showing them how to do it. We are
Yep.
showing them when to do it. We are
Mhm.
removing the idea that our brains are in itself a thinking thing. Like it
Mhm.
will always think. It will always try to figure out, right? If you put us in any situation and we have to try to get our way out of it, let's see
Mhm.
how resourceful our brains can be. Our
Right.
brains are amazing,
They
but we
are.
don't put our students in simulations that allow them to think. And because we don't have patience. Why
Mhm.
don't we have patience? Because the assessments are luring over our heads. The
Exactly.
pacing is luring over our heads. There's so many things that is affecting why our students are not in the competitive landscape for where
Mhm.
we need to be.
I
So,
agree. And I think a lot of it has to do with just what you said. When we went to school, that was not where we are right now. It wasn't the information age. So that rote memorization and the way that it was taught as a subject may have been appropriate for the jobs that, were being prepared for then. But if we don't shift from we are now in the information age, children can look up things, anything that they want to see information wise, they can look up. If we're not shifting to teach children how to think and then think critically within these jobs. So, in my opinion, teaching has to shift to where we're actually selling children the career and the lifestyle that goes along with that career, just the way entertainment and sports are doing. That's what they're
mhm,
selling. They're selling a
mhm,
lifestyle, and we trying to get children to like math, and we failing because it's not working, because it's not. They can't see the connection. But when we
right,
connect it to, hey, we got to get you prepared for this global industry out here that you're not going to be able to compete in, and all of these jobs that they don't even know about.
right.
That is what's going to reel them in. So I think if we stop teaching math as a subject and teach it as you've got to learn how to think critically through
Mhm,
problem based learning, through
mhm.
STEM and STEAM programs, then we might actually get somewhere. But you
We're
also
gonna have
had
to
some
do
thoughts
some
on that.
rewriting.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, go
sorry.
ahead, Tammy.
No, I was just saying we're gonna have to do some reworking and rewiring of the companies that promote the materials that we're using, because a big part of what's going on at this point is teachers are teaching the way that they know how
Mhm,
to teach, and we're going to have to lobby from the top
Mhm.
for a new framework that specifically addresses
mhm.
those areas of problem solving and critical thinking. When
Yeah.
you go into a teacher's observation, typically, and this isn't just in math, unless you're in a really strong science teacher's classroom, those are going to be typically the two lowest areas of your rubric, because we are not teaching children how to think at
Right,
critical levels,
right, right.
and we're not creating, as we were just so eloquently told, experiences that allow the brain to problem solve and to solve their way out of whatever situation we've set up for them. Instead, we give them a problem to work, and even if it's in an exit ticket, you got a problem, show me you know how to do it. Okay, you got
Right,
it.
right.
Yeah, and I wanted to highlight this comment because I think this is where, like, even I even see this with my daughter. Students become conditioned to getting the answers,
Mhm,
and not time spent on reflecting or inquiry or thinking critically. Because a lot of times, with my daughter is, oh, I need to get to A.
mhm,
Yeah, we want you to make good grades, but we
mhm.
also want you to know why what you're doing is important. That's more important to me than the grade.
Right.
But the students who are doing well, who are compliant a lot of times, are just that. They're compliant. They want the grade. sometimes they don't even see the connection.
I agree. I was absolutely one of those compliant students. Like I, I was super smart, right? But I also knew how to do school. Like
Mm-hmm.
I figured it out. I figured out school, and so all I have to do is finish my work. I can do that. Let me
Yeah.
finish this real quick. Help the teach a little bit. Can I go to the bathroom? So I spend a lot of my times in the hallways because I was
No.
bored. I was, and you know what? It's so interesting because a teacher that I never had before, he actually thought I was a problem child because he
Mm.
would always see me in the hallways. And then it was like the end of the school year when I was like racking up all of these awards, and he came up to me the day after. He said, "I didn't know you were smart."
Mm.
And it's so profound, like that statement, because
Yeah.
what does that mean? That means that within those times he saw me in the hallway, my brain wasn't being challenged. But
Right.
that's a whole different conversation. But you mentioned Dr. Taylor about the textbooks, right? And us being able to like really have texts that speak to where we need our students to go. And I do want to highlight that there is a big push in certain publishers to make that happen, right? But they're not going to get it all right because
Mm-hmm.
every state and every local education agency is different. Every student is different. But there
Mm-hmm.
are certain things that they have to get right.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a non-negotiable with things. And for me, one of those non-negotiables are when we're looking at these resources, right? And if there are any superintendents that are on this live right now, if there are any curriculum directors that are on this live right now, if there are any principals that have saying power on the next adoption cycle and what that looks like for you, I want you to hear me really, really loudly. When you all sit at the table and make decisions about the next $1 million publisher that you're about to bring into your school for the next 3 years, and you're about to invest, listen to my
Mm-hmm.
word, invest in a text to
Mm-hmm.
help your students get to the critical thinking, two things better be very clear on that rubric. Number one, the experiences or the math questions that the students get exposed to, does it give them the ability to actually take action in a social context?
Mm.
So, are they using mathematics to help spark a conversation around like social activism?
Mm-hmm.
Are they using mathematics to like solve a problem in the world? Or are they
Mm.
being very surface level and asking them, well, hey, um, the bank account, this was the principal, here's the rate, here's the time, tell me what my interest was. That's
Right.
surface level and it's important, right? But are they taking it that step further within those contexts and saying, hey, how do we get this particular person out of this bind because of the interest? Will they be able to pay their college tuition with that? Like, are
Mm-hmm.
we helping them critically think, right?
And that
And
fits right into our generational studies, but we are out of time, so this is definitely going to have to be a series. I hope you're available.
yes, yes, yes.
So, thank you all for joining us. Please hop over to Principal Kafele's page next. I know he has a great show lined up for us, and I hope we get to continue this conversation next Saturday because it is important, and I think we are on to something right here with Jaliyla and Fraser's mathematics. So, thank you all for joining us. We will see you back here again next Saturday. Please enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and we